Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from thealignlover.com. This is part 2 in my series where I explore some of the changes that drastic hair color shifts can have on your most harmonious seasonal color palette. In the first video, I covered Shakira, Marilyn Monroe, and Zooey Deschanel, and today I'll explore the hair shifts of Doja Cat, Beyonce, and Sofia Vergara. Now, before I get into the examples, I'll just flat out state my opinion on this. I do think that drastic hair changes, especially when combined with changes in your brow color and your overall makeup, can really shift many of your most dominant color qualities. And by that, I mean your supposed level of contrast and brightness, lightness, darkness, basically the foundations of the 12 seasonal color system. But I don't think that you can really fight your skin undertone. So good news, if you have a neutral undertone, you have a lot more room to play with. But if you have a decidedly warm or cool undertone, then it is a little bit harder to branch out of that because many of the colors of the opposite temperature will tend to clash with your undertone. And even if you are not exploring something outside of your undertone temperature, you also have to take into account brightness or mutedness because some colors can really enhance your skin tone and some colors can just make you look a little bit more grayed out or muted or maybe a little bit off yellow, especially if you're olive. So there's no hard rule, you just have to observe. All right, our first example is Doja Cat, and she has naturally darker hair. But I know it is. I don't know if it's like black or dark brown or warmish dark brown, but I know that it is dark. Now, she has, I would say, neutral skin that tans to warm, and it can be a little hard to see this because she has, so many changes in her style and presentation. Especially she's been embracing this like kind of muted look a lot, so it can be difficult to really get a good idea of her skin tone, but I do think that she leans warm, and we'll explore that more in the next slide. But I do think that she has a higher level of contrast between her skin and her hair, and then there's this lovely darkness and depth to her beauty as well. So I do think that naturally Doja Cat is of the deep, dark sub-season and leaning warm that puts her into deep autumn. And obviously the deep autumn color of this olive and this bronzy gold look phenomenal on her, especially with this lovely, lovely makeup. So beautiful. Now, why do I think she leans warm? Well, look, she shines in these olive and gold tones. I think this color just looks just like angelic on her. It just makes her look like out of this world beautiful. And here is like a winter green and winter red, and they look fine, but they don't look as magical. They don't really look like they're enhancing her specifically. I see the theme more than the color on her, and it overall has a kind of flattening effect. So when Doja Cat has her hair dark, and her skin, whether it's a little lighter or a little bit more tan, I do think that the warmer tones look best on her. Now this extends into her sultry red period, so when she wears a range of reddish hair colors from barely there red to cherry red to like more of what's that one movie? It's like the Batman, the Batman movie with the poison ivy. That just reminds me of that hair color. To this color, gorgeously deep autumn, especially with this gold, just phenomenal. She's so eye-catching here. So the colors that look best on her, even when she wears her hair red, are going to be, I would say, the same colors that look good on her when she has dark hair because they still fall into the deep autumn color palette. Now, when she wears a brighter pink wig, she does a good job of keeping the rest of her look cohesive, from her sunglasses to her makeup to her bikini, but I don't think the bright colors have the same kind of like conversation with her beauty and her skin as these golden, bronzy, deep autumn colors do. The best colors will have like a dialogue with your skin tone. There's like this magical connection going on, and it feels very alive and resonant and like high definition. Here, they look separate. How about when Doja Cat has purple hair? So again, these colors still fall well into the deep autumn palette, so easy victory, easy win. This mermaidish look is just so gorgeous to me. I love this color so much. I wish I could wear it. Um, but even when she goes into a cooler purple, because she's kept it a little bit shadowy, a lot of depth, the dark black color is not flat. It's not overly bright either. There's still a sense of that dimension, like almost an afterglow of the afterglow from Deep Autumn. It still works, but under more normal lighting with a brighter purple color, we can see that it looks quite separate. It's just too bright, especially with the neon colors of her clothing. And then the silver just doesn't speak to her undertone. And finally, let's look at Doja Cat when she wears this muted blonde color. Obviously, makeup has a huge effect. It can make you look more bright, more contrasted, more warm even, especially if you're using a very high coverage foundation and you're using contour and highlight. That changes your look so much. You can present yourself as someone who is a lot brighter or a lot warmer or cooler, and then you factor in the studio lighting and Photoshop if that's applicable. So don't be fooled by the art, the presentation, and the marketing. Celebrities have access to so many tools and professionals, so they can easily switch up their style. But for people who don't have as much time and money and resources to put into staying very cohesive, it can be a lot more expensive to create these drastic changes in your style. Now, when she does this, like, I would say muted, kind of succubus core makeup, it works because everything's muted, it's very cohesive, and we're not looking at her, we're looking at her style. But when she does wear something a little bit more conventional here under normal makeup, and lighting, we see that the silver, the denim, the muted ashy blonde is just so separate. All right, next up we have Sofia Vergara, who is naturally a dark blonde, a tawny blonde. She has, I would say, neutral, warm skin with overall muted undertones and a lower level of contrast. I think naturally she falls into the soft autumn category really comfortably. Soft autumn yellow, these goldish colors, this lighter olive green, all look gorgeous on her. Now, when she wears cobalt blue, it is very different. And I think you can use these colors strategically, especially if they're very opposite from you, because they make the eye, like the eye, they make your decisions pop, and they are far enough away from her face so that it's not really clashing with her features, her skin tone. So if you want to create a certain effect, don't think that you're limited to the colors of your palette. If you want to be very eye-catching, you can just wear a lower neckline, make sure your hair and your makeup are very cohesive, and then wear a color that is very different. And this one is especially interesting to kind of observe because it's netting, so you can kind of see beneath. It's a little bit more transparent, less solid, less opaque. So you can also factor that in if you want to wear a color that you think is a little too much, but you love it in a way that's going to overwhelm you. All right, how about when Sophia goes darker brown? I think she falls well into the deep autumn palette here. The wine colors, the deep rusty reds, the bronzish browns, the gold here is just phenomenal in the way it matches her eyeshadow. The lipstick is so perfect here. The super olive green, neutral, warm skin tone again, so nothing extremely warm that would fall into like true autumn category. But yeah, gorgeous, especially with the highlights that give a little bit of a nod to her blonder roots, but overall the effect is of depth and contrast. Now when Sophia goes super dark brown to, I would say, a cool espresso black at some times, she wears the deep palette. It can be deep autumn, deep winter, but the depth is definitely needed. I can't imagine her wearing these the colors of her soft autumn palette as successfully when she has very dark hair, because she has a different level of contrast and she's wearing all of this almost coolness on her face. When you have a lot of hair and you change it, it can really affect your overall look because it takes up so much of, you know, your visual space. So yeah, going super dark brown to black really forced Sophia to wear colors that afford way more contrast and depth. And finally, we have Beyonce. Beyonce with dark hair. So interesting. It's been forever since I've seen her with dark hair. But I think you can see that she is of the deep category. I'm going to say deep autumn, because she just has that, again, neutral warmth plus that certain clarity and lovely effect that comes over her when she wears these warmer jewel tones. And then this pumpkin color looks really good too. I imagine if she wore a bronzy gold, it would be so perfect on her. So I think at least when she wears her hair like this, the dark autumn colors are the best for her. I don't know what Beyonce's natural hair color is exactly, but we're just gonna call this her dark hair phase. All right, when Beyonce goes auburn, she can wear the autumn colors obviously really well because most of her like face and upper body are being paired with this very autumnal hair color. So the turquoises, the yellows, this like fuchsia-ish, plummish fuchsia, like a warm raspberry. I don't know exactly what you call this color. I'm thinking of a very specific color, but anyways, really gorgeous. And again, if you can imagine, instead of silver and gray, this would be like perfect as a bronzy brown. It would just be phenomenal. And now we have Platinum Beyonce, and she has really committed. She has made a very cohesive, intentional image. Very cool, silvery blonde hair, metallics, nudish makeup, very light brows to create a very muted look. It's very, I'm gonna say like Y2K soft summer. That's what I'm getting here. So yeah, under the right lighting, the right makeup, it's just so cohesive and stunning. Under I would say more realistic kind of lighting and different colors, it doesn't have that same effect. It's not as frosty, but it still is committing to that lightness and kind of like that coolness. Except for the blazer, it looks a little bit more like ivory. But anyways, if you love drastic changes, just know that you can transform your look, but it will probably require more work than you think. And it probably won't look cohesive all the time under all conditions. And that's why it's just fun to look at these photo shoots with celebrities who are being photographed under so much like creative control, because we get a commitment to an image and a theme, and it lives on in a photo, and it's just not the same with real life. So if you have any other celebrities with drastic hair changes that you have in mind that you'd like me to discuss, please let me know in the comments below. And if you need any help with your seasonal color palette or style, check out my services on thealignlover.com. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.